This is why you shouldn't rear-wheel drive swap your Subaru.
All right, here we go. So many of you probably know this is the Litigator. It's my 1997 Subaru Legacy GT. This is the car that started Dirtcheapdaily. I've done a ton of projects on it. I have rear-wheel drive swapped it. I've put a turbo on the stock NA motor. And unfortunately, for the last year, it's been out in Utah. The one issue with this is that with it converted to rear-wheel drive, the stock Subaru drivetrain is not made to handle that kind of power, and so you break stuff. And so the plan is to take the Tan out back to Utah and bring the Litigator back to Minnesota. And swap out transmission, rear diff, and axles, swap them with things that are made to be rear-wheel drive, and actually take this to drift events and have fun with it. Turn it into my full-on drift car. So, as a pre-trip, I'm just checking my fluids, making sure my coolant's good. Check my oil with this cool dipstick that I got from Superstick. Makes checking your oil super precise. Check the battery cables, they're tight. Don't have any windshield washer fluid, so I gotta get some of that. Make sure my brake fluid is where it needs to be. Check the power steering, it's where it needs to be. Make sure I have my jack, lug wrench, handle for my jack. Got some extra oil just in case, and I have Fix-A-Flat just in case. And some other zip ties are always handy. Jumper cables. I always like bringing a blanket with me. You never know when you'll need it. If you need to get on the ground, you can toss it on the ground and not have to get all dirty if you're on the side of the road. And then the last thing that's always a good idea, clean out your air filter. This one obviously hasn't been cleaned in a while. It was pretty dirty, so banged off the dust, threw it back on. So a little trick, I don't know if it works or not, but I usually do it. I go ahead and air up my tires an extra 5 or 6 PSI. Supposedly supposed to get you better gas mileage. Probably not by much, but I'm trying to do everything I can to get better gas mileage because the H6 is kind of a fuel eater. Anyway, I took off from the Twin Cities at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Nice day. As I'm driving, the weather just starts getting worse and worse. Turns out there was a major winter storm that morning down south in southern Minnesota, and there was tractor trailers and cars off the road everywhere. Luckily, got a Subaru. I have all-terrain tires on it. Did great. No issues, thankfully. Good thing I didn't leave earlier because the plows were just getting out to plow the road. Made a few stops. It was a good drive. I had some cool audiobooks to listen to. Stayed awake. And stopped for the night. The next morning, when I was driving, I hit some major fog. Pretty crazy weather for driving in April. This wasn't there, but on the way back, there was this major rollover accident. Shut down both lanes of the freeway. Luckily, it was in the opposite direction that I was heading, and so didn't affect me. Pretty crazy to see how much traffic was backed up, though. But yeah, that was a drive. It was fun. I would recommend, if you ever do have the chance, making a long road trip in your car is a huge confidence booster for your car. I've done this drive and other similar long drives in this same 2004 Subaru Legacy Outback with the H6 5 times in the last 2 years. It's a beast. I love driving this thing cross country. It's really comfortable. Cruise control works, which is nice. And you just go. Made it. It's Monday now. I got in on Sunday right around noon and just kind of hung out. Took the drift car, the Litigator for a drive. I thought I was getting out of the snow, but apparently not. So, here she is. Yeah, we got some fair amount. So the issues I'm seeing right off the bat is smoke's really bad because my oil return line is just like soaked. in oil. I don't think you're gonna be able to see it down in there, but it's right there. And it's shiny. It's not supposed to be shiny. So I gotta fix that. Besides that though, it runs just fine. It's super bouncy. Like, I can't believe I was okay with it. So, got some other struts and things that I'm gonna see if I can throw on there before I take it back. And a few other, I made a little list last night of the things I want to do to it before I leave, and then we'll kind of go from there. Mostly though, I think today we're gonna wait for the clouds to clear and the sun to come out and get all of this stuff melted, because I don't want to work in the snow or the wet. So the last time I really beat on this car, I totally broke it. I revved it up to the red line and just dropped the clutch, and I sheared a CV axle in half. That's the issue with a rear-wheel drive converted Subaru. The stock parts aren't made to hold up to it. And so I really like this car. I really like this chassis. I like the look of it. I like the look of the interior. And so I'm going to turn this into a full-on drift car. But, you know, unexpected things happened. I was out driving on this lonely mountain road. The snow had stopped. Just taking it easy. I didn't think anything would happen. And then just as I was turning around, sharp turn, I'm in a rear-wheel drive car, give it a lot of gas, hear the turbo spool up, you know, let the clutch out, give it a little burny, and then it struck. I didn't know what happened. Did the car blow up? Did I throw a rod? Were all the internet warriors right when they told me not to turbo my stock 2.5D? I just hear an explosion under the car. Try it in each gear, nothing happens. Get out. Look around. See a big oil streak up the whole road. It's over. This is the end. The mountain killed the litigator.
Is that blood? That's blood!
This is why you shouldn't rear-wheel drive swap your Subaru. Little Bernie, letting off, and then something exploded and puked. 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 And so I stopped right here. And said, crap. Well, I guess you get out of the road.
Back it up. Back it up. Here. Push it forward. Chunky sounds. Crunchy.
To here. Oh. It doesn't look like it's leaking that much transmission fluid anymore. That's good. Because it's all on the ground. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. This is the face of planning what to do next. I think it's this jacket. This jacket's bad luck. I haven't worn this jacket in for ages. And the last time I wore it was the last time I broke this. No, it's not the jacket that's bad luck. It's just driving a rear-wheel drive swap car. Yeah, I think something grenaded. Bad. Let's just coast down a little bit. Let's go run over options real quick.
Behind door number 1.
Go to the junkyard and pull a transmission, swap the transmission out, put axles back in, all that stuff, and drive it back to Minnesota. And then do my real rear-wheel drive conversion like I had planned on.
Or behind door number 2.
Scrap it.
Or door number 3.
Do a rear-wheel drive conversion using a different car. Do a different car. Use a different car. As much as I like this interior... Whoa! That's new. As much as I like this interior, I really like the 04 or the 05 Plus Legacies. If I could get a sedan one of those, that'd be rad. Here we go. Sounds like the driveline is on the ground.
But it's not?
Nah. Nothing hanging down.
The engine runs good.
Yeah. Seems we do this often.
It's kind of... See, if your car is making this sort of rattling sound, you should probably stop driving it. We're not gonna... Too remote. Pull off somewhere we've got room.
Please keep moving.
What do they see?
I don't know. But I can't go forward, so I was
deer or
hoping
something?
for the momentum.
Stopping to pick the nose.
You guys will push into the gravel if we don't.
Yay!
Make it.
Pushing!
Go, 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 go! Yeah, we made it. I have all this stuff already for rear-wheel drive Subaru swap. What if I did a rear-wheel drive? Or did a Subaru conversion in the Mazda? In the truck.
That'd be cool.
That'd be really cool. Okay, so we're towing. There we go. Put on my flashers for everybody's benefit. Do that. And I'm really hoping my transmission doesn't lock up because it's empty of fluid. So, at the yard, I'm gonna grab a new transmission, throw it in, and be done with it. There's one with a short block, kind of. That looks pretty good. Basically, I'm only looking for one that already has the engine out, because there's enough that already have the engine out. So there's this one that I'm assuming is good because obviously it had a rod knock. Then we have this one that's all the way out already. I gotta make sure that the front differential and the rear differential are the same. Oh, that last one unfortunately would have worked great, and it only needed the pitch stop taken off for it to fall out. However, somebody took the tail shaft off of it and the center differential. Somebody was looking for a center differential basically, and they took it. So luckily I found another one. There was this one which has the engine out, but it's an Outback, so it's a 411 rear diff. And I was thinking, well, I could just grab the 411 rear diff too, but I don't want to because I'm not going to keep that diff in it for very much longer at all. So I found this one. Like an 02 Legacy. Holy cow, this one is garbage. Yeah, 02 Legacy. Cool. I might take that boot with me too. Not might, I will take that boot with me. And then I'll have a boot for mine because mine doesn't have a boot. Anyway, so getting to work on this. Dropping this. Go. Oh, it's like weird. Sound deadening, yo. There we go. So we gotta undo all that, and yeah, we'll take the whole thing. That'll work. It's oily and greasy, but at least I know it's probably pretty good, because that's a good sign right there. And transmission's dead. Or the engine's dead, not the transmission, so. Pretty sure I got everything else I need off it. Let's take it. Sweet. I think that was maybe 45 minutes. Nice when you don't have to pull any engine bolts. Ben went to the gym. I just went to the junkyard instead. Picking up a transmission, pushing the car in the driveway. Oh, cool. Not cool. So now I gotta start taking stuff apart. I gotta drop the exhaust, pull off the charge pipe so I can get back to the bell housing bolts. Stuff like that. This is turning into quite the car. Jeez. Just pulled the drive shaft off, and this came with it. Pretty good crack here. Crap. That's amazing. This is going on the wall as destruction trophies. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know. Keep going, I guess. I think I just need to drop the transmission cross member and then get the jack underneath, and I can just pull it out.
Cool.
Or I could just drop it since it doesn't matter.
So as much as this really sucked and this trip didn't go anywhere near what I planned, driving out there I had a lot of time to reflect and think about life and things. At the end of last summer I had my first kid. I have a daughter now. I'm going back to school at the end of this summer. Needless to say, I had some major life changes in the last year. One of the ways that I decompress is when I'm working on something. And so the whole time I'm doing this, I'm kind of reflecting and thinking about what I want to do going forward. I already have all the stuff to do a rear-wheel drive Subaru. At this point, that's still the plan, to build some kind of drift car. And I was really on the fence kind of the whole time. Should I take this car back? Should I take the 04 Outback back to Minnesota? That would be stupid. It would be a waste of a trip almost. One of the big things I realized is how out of shape I am to work on cars. At the end of getting the transmission out and getting the new one back in, I had bruises on my shoulder blades from walking on my shoulders that I guess I had calluses before? I don't know. Anyway, way out of shape for the weird wrenching you do when you're working on a car in the driveway on your back.
It's missing a whole lot of teeth. And then, yeah, it's not supposed to have teeth on the diff carrier. But my welds that everybody said sucked held, and they're super good still. So, welds don't matter. Power matters. Power is what breaks things. And then here's some chunkies, some ball bearings off of here, and some chunkies there.
Anyway, got the new transmission back in. Everything went smooth, converting it back to all-wheel drive. So, what was there to do next? Go take it out and drive it around. Build my confidence back up in this vehicle that I had seen as such a reliable car before I'd broken it so often. The engine has always been super reliable, even after the turbo. It's the drivetrain that has sucked. And now that it's back to all-wheel drive, it should be bulletproof. So me and Ben went all over the place, drove it up and down the freeway, drove it out to a couple of cool places to shoot, took some cool footage, but there was still like this gut feeling that's really hard to describe that I didn't feel good about bringing the Litigator back to Minnesota. By this time I was confident that it would make it just fine, but I didn't feel good about bringing it back. And so I decided to leave it in Utah. I've been looking forward to coming back and getting my hands on the Litigator, and really, this trip got me through this really long Minnesota winter. Just the thought of, I'm gonna go out to Utah and I'm gonna bring my drift car back to Minnesota. I've worked so hard on that thing, I love this car. Then when I got out to Utah and drove it around, there's a lot of things that I love about the car, but at the same time, I'm kind of ready to move on. I'm at the point where I would like to start over and do things differently. In my first episode of Dirtcheapdaily, I talk about how I would spend time and do all the research and build up a car, and then I would get to a point where I was just done with it and I'd move on to the next car. And last year, I didn't think I would be at that point with the Litigator for a long time, but I am. I'm ready to move on from the Litigator, and I don't really know what that means as far as the future of it. I'm probably going to put it up for sale in June. If you're interested, get in touch with me. I'm still building a drift car, but it's not going to be in the Litigator's chassis. So you're hearing it here first. There is a new project car for Dirt Cheap Daily that I'm going to be working on this summer and pumping out videos of my drift car. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Go back and check out all the videos of the Litigator, because for now, this is kind of the end. It's sad to say, but I'm at the point where I'm ready to move on. Things get better, people change, but I still keep it dirt cheap. Thanks for watching.